Hey guys, so there's all these rumors and myths and inconsistencies about the platform Kick. And I'm thinking through telling my story of what happened with me and the platform and my interaction with a very specific individual, which I'm going to call Mr. Mustache. I think I can expose some of what happened and I can show you some warning signs to look out for yourself. So let's start with an introduction. I am Craggy Reads. I have a little stream where I translate Japanese games to English in real time, and I have different characters and stuff. It's a late night into early morning stream. I really love like Adult Swim and that kind of Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Mystery Science Theater 3000, general late night radio, stuff like that. I'm really trying to live up to that kind of legacy, but anyway, it's not that important. I started on Twitch. I built an audience on Twitch in the retro community, and eventually ended up leaving and coming to Kick because I kind of believed in the dream of little streamers coming together and making something that could work for those of us that are a smaller size. I've always been around like 20 viewers, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty proud of that. Now on Kick, there's no real way to gain an audience. When I first went over there, I tried streaming games, and if you've ever streamed games over there, what you'll find out is it's not a good idea. Why is that? Because they modeled their whole place after Twitch, and Twitch's model, it has all these individual game categories, right? And on Kick, there's just not an audience to really support that. And if you go into a game category to play a game, you're pretty much condemning yourself to never be seen because nobody is going to be looking for it. It's more advantageous for you to instead stream to like the just chatting category, not play a game at all, which is counterintuitive, especially with trying to compete with Twitch for gaming. But just the way the system works doesn't really work for that. And you see, here's the thing, they're also overly strict on categories. So if you put yourself in just chatting, and you are chatting, you put the chat first, you don't ignore it, but you play a game, they will move you to a random category very often. They'll move you out of the just chatting category. They move you around categories a lot. And I streamed on Twitch, I streamed on YouTube now, and neither of those behave like that. So I always found that weird. I would complain, I would say, how do I get this to work? In fact, there was a point where it was about 10 months in, and I was really frustrated with it because it was only just chatting category that I could get any kind of visibility. And so I messaged the Twitter and I said, is there some way I can earn a spot on the front page? I just want a chance to get some discoverability. I'm playing these weird, obscure games. I don't really know what to do on this platform. I don't really know if I have any future here. I really don't know what to do. I need help. And the Twitter, kind of them actually, they put together a little promo for my stream. It was really kind of them, and put it on the Kick community Twitter. That's still there this day. Everything I'm telling you has been recorded, has happened in real time, happened on my stream or publicly available somewhere. I'm going to post some of the related videos to the things I have to say. There is a video that covers some of the stuff that happens near the end of my story, but it's like a 6-hour video. So one of the purposes of this video is to hopefully make something shorter than that and, more concise and to the point. So that was kind of them. And then I still couldn't get on front page. There's actually a myth around the front page that I'm going to get into. So many people have issues with the consistency of front page. They think a lot of the same people are up there. And I put a title, like I believe it was, "What is the deal with Kick's front page?" And a staff member came in, and I'm not going to give any names because since I've had issues with Kick, I don't want any staff members that were kind to me to get problems. So I'm not going to mention any staff name, but I'm still thankful this person to this day. They came in and they said, you got a problem with our front page? And I said, yeah, I do. I'm not on it, I said. And the guy put me up. And not right away, he talked to me for a little bit, and then he put me up on the front page. It was a really nice feeling, right? It was a really nice feeling. And now I've realized the Kick kind of plays off of this feeling purposefully. I believe they now play off of it purposefully, because it did feel really good. I want to show you something else. So a little bit after that time, they have this program on Kick called Kick Picks, and I looked at it and I said, I'm going to show you on my Discord. Let's make this straight for you to see that clear on. I put this here. I said on February 1st, I said I put this great Hambino little picture, and I posted the week 10, and I said, I'm getting that. I'm calling my shot right now. I am gonna get Kick Picked. Kind of a ridiculous thing to do, right? Kind of insane. But check this out. Check this out. February, look at this. I got it. The next week, I got it. Let me restart that. There we go. I got it. There you can see that. February 5th. Number 4 right here. And what they would do is they give you 100 subs and they put you on the front page and they feature you. And it was really nice feeling. Again, I'm really thankful that happened. I really appreciate it still. So about this time, I definitely got Kick's interest. They definitely knew who I was. And so I thought, hey, there's this KCIP program, Kick Creator Incentive Program. You know what? I'm not even verified. I'm just going to take a shot in the dark. You know, I got Kick Pick. I'm going to email them and I'm going to see maybe I can get verified. Maybe I can get verified. Maybe I can get KCIP. So I just take a shot in the dark and I email KCIP. They of course say no, but I noticed something. The fact that after I emailed them, I got front page almost every day. And I was like, whoa, they're really trying to help me out here. They're trying to help me get it. And I was really appreciative of that, right? And so I told my friends, hey, if you want to get some interest, maybe just email the verified team or KCIP. And my friends did it. They emailed them. And 2 of my friends who had similar stats to me, the strange thing was they got verified. They received the verification. And a certain Mustache man was also in their chat before it happened. Now, this bothered me because if the system is just by fiat like this, right? Like by random choice, then what am I supposed to do? How do I get the special attention, I wondered, right? Like, of course, right? I'm not judging anyone. If you're a streamer and you streamed on Kick, and even if you're one of the quote-unquote favorites, I'm not judging you. I was there too. I was there for a window. I started getting featured every day, sometimes multiple times a day. And you could say I was one of the favorites. I was one of Kick favorites. And let me tell you a couple of things I want to dispel now. One is that the front page is a good place to be. I wanted to dispel that right away because this was a while ago. It was still before the newer front page. And I was up there pretty regularly, and I can tell you something. There was almost no actual viewership to gain. The only types of people that would come in were people angry at Stake or Kick, which was most of your viewership on the front page, or bots, or number 3, other streamers would come in to your chat. And those are the only real ones, the opportunity to win over other streamers. And anybody that's been up on the front page knows this. That's how you know there's not really real viewership to gain on Kick if you're on the front page a lot, because there's nothing there. It's just other streamers at best. And you can make those connections yourself. You can go network with people yourself. So what I discovered was the front page was actually kind of a plastic carrot. Now at one time was the front page good? I suppose so. It had to be. But by the time I became a favorite, it already kind of sucked. And this is something a lot of the favorites won't say. And a lot of people are jealous of the front page placement. What they don't get is actually watch those people's growth over time, and you'll notice they don't really grow that much. Their metrics will be inflated because of the front page time now, because the front page numbers are much higher for some unknown reason. They say it's from the embedded video player, but that doesn't quite stack up to me because the viewer count isn't live, but the views are kind of stacked on specific ones. And so I would think if it was the auto player, the fact that it goes from different streams would make it more spread out, but it's not. It's very slot focused. And they've never really made a response to that, why they do that, why that exists. But nonetheless, so at this point, they also roll out the AI moderation. And the reason they do that is because to hide the fact that what you actually get on the front page is angry people. You get people angry at Stake and Kick. There's actually a lot of people that are angry with the company. And most of their changes and their choices are to try and hide that. Tons of people will come in all pissed off. If you've ever been front page, you know this is true. There is no real viewership to gain. Okay, think about the fact that they post streams charts, the website, instead of their own internal analytics. They always post streams charts. Why? I don't know. Because they say themselves, when people bring up the botting, right? They go, we know who bots. I think that's a lie. I don't think that they have internal analytics that show that, because then they are knowingly putting out artificial statistics. They know the streams chart statistics are inflated, but they brag about them every month. And then they also say on the other side of their mouth, we know the real numbers. One of those things isn't true. And then wants you to believe that they're actually competitive. None of that makes sense. So anyway, me and the Mustache guy, I wouldn't say get into a kerfuffle, but I go into his chat pissed off and I ask him, I say, hey man, why the heck are some people getting verified without meeting the metrics? How long have you been doing this? And do you still do it to this day? Now he reads that and lies to me. He says, I'm not part of that team and we don't do that anymore. Now we all know, everybody that's been at Kick knows they do verify people that don't meet the metrics. Not only do they verify people, they give people the KCIP that don't meet the metrics, which is again why I applied for it in the first place. Now at this point, I come up with an idea because I still have the same problem I always had. I can't get any visibility because there's no point to play games on the platform. And so I think, what the heck do I do, man? And I came up with this idea. And around that time, Eddie comes up with this Kick Talk thing. And so I start workshopping the idea with my chat. And I start workshopping it. We start talking about it. I make the presentation multiple times to Kick staff. And then eventually, I make the presentation to Eddie himself. He comes into my chat and I make the presentation to Eddie himself. I'm going to link that VOD in the description. I'm going to link all these VODs in the description that I can find. Then one day, I come up with another idea. I'm like, okay, well, I got the idea to Eddie, and it doesn't seem like they're going to accept the presentation as is. And I'm still wondering to myself, like, how do I get special favors like the other people did? And my friends were in a specific category, a smaller category that Kick kind of favored. So I thought to myself, what if I try to build a smaller category then? Could I get the special treatment too with the verified and KCIP and that kind of thing? And so I also want to prove my idea and see if it works. And so I picked a retro category because it goes along with my idea. And you'll see my idea in a moment. I'm going to watch a video that will tell you my idea in a moment. But again, the idea comes from a frustration with the platform and the fact that gaming actually sucks on it. That's a key part of the presentation that gets left out in the Kick Talk version. So I come up with the idea. I try to get on Kick Talk. I pitch to Eddie like, hey man, I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to be on Kick Talk. But I know Mr. Mustache. I get the impression he has an issue with me. I'm not sure what it is, but the way he was, and I know I had him on tape at this point lying to me about the verification thing, because again, I knew my friends got verified. See, Kick relies on us not talking to each other, us not sharing our stories with each other. They rely on this like self-interest mentality of stay in your own lane, don't look at what anybody else is doing, just a very self-interested mentality, and that's why they play off your ego. Like when you get kick picked or when you get front page it really plays off your ego. And in fact, the verification system feels a lot like the sneeches on the beaches when it comes to some have stars on DARs and some don't have stars. That's very similar to how it feels. See, there was a time where I was being kind of harassed by this guy. I can show you and see if it shows up here. Let me flatten this. And to show you proof, what I'm going to do is, this is going to be live. This is the Kick front page live right now. Let's make it bigger a little bit. I'm going to type at the top. Let's see. Let me go up. I'm going to type at the top. Cracky reads. Now, Cracky read. Let's get. Now, as you can see, there are all these bots, and I've asked them to delete them. Now, what these bots would do is they'd go into other people's chat and they would say, hey, I'm Cracky Reads. Why am I not getting featured? I should be featured, not you. And the wild thing is this worked. Like, people would come into my chat and say, you need to put in the hard work. You need to stand out. And here's the thing. I streamed 150 hours a month. I stream 5 days a week. I have a very consistent schedule, and I'm proud of that. These people didn't even know me, you know? It's like I've maintained like a 20 plus viewer average for years now at the most ridiculous time in the world, late night and early morning. But again, Kick is structured as such that you need a 75 viewer average to get verified. That's not something you can organically reach on the platform anymore. So why aren't the numbers readjusted? Why aren't they something more fair, like hours watched, which again, somebody like me could get 5,000 hours watched in a month? And again, when you bring up that these people get verified without meeting the metrics, they would play this game. Mustache would play this game where he goes, who are you talking about? Because he wants you to call out your own friends. It's very sketchy. Who, he says. And if you say, then he plays a different emotional game. He goes, are you saying they don't deserve it? Which of course you're not saying that. You're saying, hey, I want transparency. transparency. I want a system that works. I want a system that is honest. I want a system that I can know I can work towards, which again, since I started on Kick, that's what I wanted. That's what I was looking for, you know? I just wanted a place to earn my place. I'm down to earn my place. I'm down to try and entertain you. I'm down to do that. I'm not begging for nothing. But see, they paint it this way where if you complain about it, everybody's going to paint you as a complainer, as somebody that is just demanding things. It's just fiat by the Kick team of what people they like and what people they don't. Now, okay, so I was sitting there one day having a good stream and somebody comes in my chat and goes, "Hey, Kick Talk, Eddie's talking about you." And I go, "What? No way." You know, I'm excited. And then I turn it on. I realize it's not about me. It's about this other guy. And this guy was a regular viewer of mine, okay? He watched my stream pretty often. He was always lurking. If I could say his name, he would come and chat. And I hosted him a number of times. Me and him, I thought, I made them this pitch, like, I want to build up the retro category. Because again, I was looking for trying to get a category that I could help build, and then I could get that kind of special treatment that I saw other people getting. I wanted it myself. I'll be honest, I did, right? I did, and I thought I could earn it somehow. How? Build up a category, show my worth, prove it. And so this other guy was the other guy in there with a similar goal. And before this Kick Talk, he mentioned that he would talk about my idea. And I thought that was interesting, but I also thought there's no way he's going to mention my name. And I said that on my stream. And he comes out of lurking and says, "I'm going to talk about whatever is relevant." And that's that. And I have no agenda. So again, I see him there, right? At this point, let's watch this. Let's pause the fireplace. Now, since this has gone out, Mustache here. Okay, so who's who? Eddie is in the left. He's the CEO of Kicks in background. Mustache, let's put this straight so you can see this. Fix that. Mustache said that has made a defense for this, saying that it actually was one of many ideas. Now, I'm going to link the Kick Talk video on YouTube that this comes from. Watch it yourself. Tell me what many ideas he's talking about, because I am not aware of them. All right. Now, again, context, I was watching this live, and I was in utter shock and disbelief.
So, am I good to ask a question?
Yeah, so handing it right over to you.
Cool. So, what I wanted to talk about, categories on Kick, right? I'd love to talk about that. I've been talking to other people in the retro community for this interview, like Alex is playing fantastic.
Now, again, also a Mustache uses a defense for this video here, is that he says he was talking about people from the retro community, so of course that must include me, even though he seems to have purposefully not mentioned me. And he's admitted to this whole event later. Now, he's admitted to this whole thing later. Admitted to what? You'll see.
Streamer. Retro Matt. Razor Red recently has been coming into that category as well, bringing all that hype with it. But I'd love to talk to you about is, Eddie, you always talk about cross-pollination of communities, right? You're always looking for, from a viewer psychology point of view, what keeps the viewer there after they're done watching their favorite streamer, what keeps them on the platform. And from a streamer point of view, they're always concerned about discoverability. And Andrew, as well, you talk about, you know, you want Kick to be the next Netflix, Hulu of the live streaming service. And I think there's so much of their mind.
Now, all that is true. The most dishonest thing about the whole situation is, what is Mr. Mustache's role in the company? He has no title. He has no verified badge. But I've realized this is all just PR dishonesty. People think he's a PR guy, right? But then what? He will say it again and again. He developed the verification program. He developed KCIP. And he developed the front page program. And again, what he said is he goes from project to project and then moves on to the next one. Now, again, I don't know what that is besides avoiding any kind of responsibility, but he acts like that's a good thing. And then again, he has no title. He has no working title. So people don't know what he does. But here's a clue. He calls almost all the employees, anybody that's not working on the product, because head of product is Paulie and people working on it, devs, are below him. Anybody else at Kick calls his employees. What does that mean? And if you also notice on his streams, he has an account. You can check anybody's account, see all the mod notes on it, see everything like that. He can front page people himself. He does it. He talks about doing it. Again, all why? What is his real role then? Why would he have that much authority? If he's just a PR guy, why can he do that much? If he's not trying to hide his real rank in the company and try to avoid accountability.
Model that can be adopted in the sense of genres.
I think you do it into genre.
So, you know, grouping, for instance, like, you know, all the fighting games together.
I think you go with genres. Let's go with fighting games because that's an easy one. And I know fighting games, so I can give you a pitch on this. Now, see, the reason I picked fighting games for the presentation is because I actually was a fighting game guy. I competed in EVO 2016. I played casuals a lot, Street Fighter 5. I was really into fighting games. I was a big fighting game guy. So that's why I made the pitch on fighting games.
They're right, because at the moment, 95% of gaming categories are being buried.
No incentive to game anything but the top couple of games. Now again, you can, in my version of the presentation, you can hear my unsatisfaction with the situation. The fact that I'm trying to play games and I have nowhere to go. The gaming categories are basically dead.
They're 20 pages down along.
The way it is currently, they only get people in for that game. No cross-pollination, no sideways growth.
So if you're a streamer who loves Mario 64, you're far better streaming it in retro, which I'm a part of, which is like a genre, right? Because there's that cross-pollination of communities.
Because genres have more natural cross-pollination, I believe, and interest. Now, another mistake I made was I didn't put the date of the Kick Talk. It happens about a month later from the dates I'm putting. It happens about a month later. You can check the actual date. It was about a month later from those.
Streamers who can find you.
I think there's more chance of cross-pollination between genre streams than there is the same game.
So I guess my question is, have you thought about having a homepage where you have all the different genres?
Right front, you have different game categories by genre.
Now, there's an important part of the idea that some people skip over. It should replace the carousel, because I believe the carousel is actually a detriment to all of us, and I even wonder why it exists. And I've narrowed it down to give you that feeling that you're special when you get up there. Because let's say you're up there half an hour, your discoverability is still less because traffic isn't going to the general website; it's going to the little carousel at the top. And I also think it'd be better not have a carousel because of Kick's predator problem. If you actually force traffic through the website, and there would be people looking at these other streams able to report them. As you have it now, which I believe is set up for them to negotiate with larger streamers on other platforms, because Mr. Mustache says when they negotiate with people on Twitch or YouTube, they want X amount of front page impressions. Now they can advertise them because the numbers on the front page are much higher.
You have that at the top.
And the sorting is on the front page. You have the different categories. You can click.
You know, whether it's fighting
Game. Again, fighting game, I did because I was big into fighting games. So that's why I picked that as a topic to focus on.
FPS, whatever it is, and then you could tag the game.
You make the tag with the game name
in it, and then that way there's such, you know, you're expanding the viewer's taste subtly adjacent.
You maximize your odds of finding somebody else similar if it's a category by genre, because you like that genre. You already basically get it.
You know, if you're a big Call of Duty person, you're like, oh, Halo. You know, I remember that game as well. And, you know, you're subtly moving that pollination throughout different streamers.
There's a fair amount of people where there'll be cross-pollination if they're all in the same shared category.
And all the streamers have more people to host, right? Because I know watching music, I know watching the art category, you know, and I know being in the retro category.
As a gamer that likes playing older games,
there are more genres than categories, and that cross-pollination between communities.
Cross-pollination.
I feel like if someone's
I said cross-pollination a lot.
Typing in a game, because it says like what game are you playing, right? And then you put in that game,
sure.
and it's not there.
So they look up like Street Fighter 4 and they type it in or whatever game, and they don't see anybody playing it. They just see an empty category and they just turn off Kick and they leave. You know?
But just to interrupt you on that, like, but if you still use the tags for the games, you'll still find it.
The tag needs to be in the game and it needs to be filtered by tag.
Yeah.
So for instance, you know, as a subcategory.
Maybe it's about putting the genre before the category. You know what?
Or else I'm talking shite. I don't know about it.
I left that in on purpose. Why? Because it was his presentation. He would be confident in it. That's why. If it was his presentation, he wouldn't have said that. They could implement that tomorrow if they wanted to.
Because you already have all the data and you could just transfer that to tags.
Which I don't think would be too hard to implement when they've already got the database for games and stuff.
It's a love for Kick, do you know what I mean? It's generally like, this is my home now, so.
I say we because I consider myself Team Kick.
I'll succeed on it as much as me. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what works for everyone.
But if you don't mind, if somebody does adopt it, let them know I came up with it. Or just steal it, whatever. I can't stop you.
And we have you and the other 21
now
creators.
Look at his eyes.
To thank for that.
Look at his eyes. What is he looking at? What is he looking at? Look at that right there by Rev. Shout out to Cracky Reeds. Shout out to Cracky Reeds. People called him on it in real time. In real time. And you can see it on his face. He sees it. He sees it. And now again, this guy, Mr. Mustache, will go ahead and give the credit for the idea to him, and he'll be like pretending like there's all these other ideas that they have. Now again, I want you, if you believe that I'm framing a narrative here, watch the YouTube version of the full video and tell me that he actually had other ideas. Show me them. They're not there. Sorry, but they're not. I'm not spinning a narrative. All I did was edit it down to just the presentation parts. And then I edited out Eddie talking, I edited out him talking, and I just put back to back with my ideas. And I had evidence on the floor. I just wanted to make this as concise as possible to try to get people to watch it.
On all the notes, but you guys are constantly.
If we could just have it so.
And that was me watching it live.
Set their own tags, but also
At the end there. At the end, I said my idea is gone, but that got cut, I guess. So, since then, wild. The real heartbreak here for me was I thought I was building up retro, right? I thought I was going to prove my idea, my category idea, that gaming is messed up on the platform. I thought I was going to prove it by going to retro. That was the whole reason I was in retro. I mean, the fact that that guy watched my stream as a regular, the guy on there that pitched the idea, was because I was trying to prove it. I was trying to prove my idea worked. That's why I was in retro. That's why I was trying to build it up. I talked my friends into doing it. And so after that happens, I reach out to everybody I can at Kick, and I get ghosted. Nobody will talk to me. I DM the Twitter, the Kick Twitter account, ghosted. I talked to the staff member that used to put me on front page. He was on my Discord, ghosted, would not reply. I added him in my Discord, would not reply. And after a couple weeks, he just disappeared. I don't know what happened internally. It seems like something did, and I was no longer allowed to be talked to. That's sure what it seemed like. And eventually, I got a meeting with the guy, with Mr. Mustache, because I caught him about a month later in my buddy Kickclips' chat. And I said, hey, what the hell was that? And he said, I'll hear you out. Email the support, you know, they'll hand it along to me. And I had a meeting with him. We talked on the phone. And I used the opportunity to pitch him all my ideas. I still wanted to show Kick, hey, I'm trying to play ball. I'm trying to be part of the team. I'm trying to be an asset. Here's all my ideas. I don't even really care about the idea being stolen. I'm just using this opportunity to give you more ideas. And see, the problem was, though, after that, he gives me his email, and I email him. And I keep asking about the double standards to verification, the double standards of KCIP. Because here's the thing, we all know, for anybody that comes from Kick, we know there is a double standard to all those things. People get front page, even if they bot, as long as they don't bot too much. People get verified with or without the metrics. People get KCIP with or without the metrics. Then the teams will tell us, we have these rules and they're strict and you have to deal with them. I know many friends that got verified or KCIP without meeting the metrics. In fact, I know more people that got them without meeting the metrics than I do people that met the metrics. And if you're on Kick, you know this is true. I think most people just turn their eyes away from that because they're like, well, I could get that special treatment too. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. But you got to know, if the places run this dishonestly, it's not going to work because there's no way to earn your spot with merit and hard work and that kind of thing. So after Kick stopped talking to me, they stopped featuring me on front page, which of course, I guess, right? In fact, I would show it on stream. I would message the 24-hour support and they would not even respond to me. I would show this all on stream. And now what are people talking about favorites? Well, I have an example. See, Miss Leafy, a friend of mine, friend of the channel, she had my back. And so they stopped featuring her too, which is pretty interesting, right? They stopped featuring her too. Now, they didn't stop featuring the guy at all. So they act like if any drama happens, they're going to stop featuring both sides. But they didn't. They only stopped featuring one side. And I had his staff coming in, calling me all kinds of names. The guy that took the presentation, calling me all kinds of names, trying to convince me that they came up with it first. All this kind of stuff. And it's just like, no, I know that ain't right, man. And so I went through the VODs and I compiled that video. Miss Leafy was also basically blacklisted like this from being featured. She used to be featured all the time too. And so we came up with a plan. What she did was, for a while, of course, she didn't really talk about Kick for like a week and nothing really happened. But then she put her title as, I love Kick, pick Kick, Kick is great. Guess what? Immediately front page. Immediately. We tested all kinds of stuff with Kick. It's all on the record. It's all visible. You can look at all of it. And people say, well, what is the favoritism? And do I have to suck up to get it? No. If you're a Kick streamer and you want to get it, that's what you do. And don't push back on the double standards. Don't try to hold them accountable. And you can stay on the favorite path if you want to. But I decided not to because I don't think that a platform that operates that way is going to work. It's going to make people with drive burn out. And I tried to confront this guy guy because he eventually stopped replying to my emails. And so I had to go into his chat and try to talk to him that way. And he even went so far as to lie, and I have this in a 6-hour video and post, which I know nobody's going to watch, but I have the evidence. I went into his chat and I tried to call him out, and he lies and he goes, I emailed you at DreamHack. So I point out the last time he emailed me, which was a date like a week before then. Instead, he calls to his chat and says, hey, who here got an email from me? Who here got an email from me personally, as if to try and encourage his chat to hate on me. And I get dogpiled. His chat goes wild on me. They're all replying to me. They're all talking to me. They're all telling me to shut the fuck up. They're calling me slow. They're calling me retarded. They're calling me a crackhead. And I get my name is close enough that it makes people just say that. Fine. But he does not do anything to stop it. Like, if he was under the terms of service, he would have violated, but he's not. He pulls up my private Twitter to show the video that I just showed you, and he tries to dismiss it. And in the while, trying to paint me as somebody that is just bitter and mad and fixated on this idea being stolen, when that's not the case, man. I wanted transparency, and I still do, and that's why I've walked away from Kick, and that's why I'm now streaming primarily on YouTube. I know Adin Ross loyals are also pointing out the right person to blame. I've seen a number of them do it. It's Mr. Mustache. Mr. Mustache is, in fact, in a position to harm Kick. People think he's in a PR position. He's not. I don't have anything against Eddie. I don't have anything against any other staff member, but the fact that they can't tell he's incompetent makes me distrust them. I'm really proud of my stream. Everyone just assumes if you're not getting everything they're getting, you're bitter and you're mad. But see, here's the thing. I was a favorite. I discovered the truth. The front page is not real discoverability. There is no discoverability on Kick. The truth is, Kick does not have the power to help you. They can pay you a bag. So if you don't care about growing, and I understand you got to grow on other platforms, but then it's like, why even go to Kick? They're 95.5. Is that really worth it? That's to offset not getting any ad money? I don't know, man. I don't think it is. Now, again, you could say with the front page stuff, you could say it's within their power. It's within their right. It's fine for them to do that because the front page is them using their discretion like a publisher. Now, I want to show you something else. I'd like to show you something else real quick if you have that opinion. So their front page is their discretion. I agree. So let's look at something real quick. I want you to read this tweet. I want you to read it yourself. I'm going to zoom in a bit. I want you to read this to yourself. I'm not going to read it out loud. I want you to look at the screen and I want you to read that. That's a pinned tweet of an individual. I don't want to target this individual. I don't have anything to do with this individual. But if Kick picks who they want on front page, who is it? Well, let me show you. Let me show you who it is. And I have the date right there. And you may be saying, huh, do they keep doing it? Was it just random that this person was front page? No, we have 10:29 and we have 11:04. I'm sure we have many other times. This is just when I was able to catch it. So they're saying they endorse this. And again, if you get front page, you are as high quality of a stream as that. And again, they say there's a front page team, they say, that makes sure that the person isn't toxic. They check their socials. They do? They check their socials? Okay. So I'm just going to believe Kick when they say that then, right? I'm going to believe them. I'm going to believe them. This person is there because they agree with this. And the thing is, it's like that around every corner on Kick. That's not just like one little angle of it. They're going to allow all that kind of stuff to go on until somebody calls them out on it, until someone makes them accountable. And no one does. Everyone tries to get theirs. People don't call them out on that kind of stuff. And I think it's only a matter of time until it bites them in the ass. So anyways, guys, thank you for listening to my story. I really appreciate that. I hope you have a good day. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate that. If you're a streamer or you're getting into streaming or you're learning Japanese, if there's anything I can do to help you out, come by and I'd be happy to, or drop me a message somewhere. It's not too hard to find me. I'm going to post again all the evidence in the video description. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.